Did that change anything?
No, you're still the same. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Retro Fandango, episode number 210. I am Kevin, aka Buried on Mars, aka Canadian Grooves, here with my buddy Richard, aka Rambox. He's trying to find the nightlight on his Windows 10 PC to bring down that harsh light that's on his face right now.
This is very confusing.
All you have to do, see, look, even Steven recognized right away. He said it's Ghost Rambox. What you have to
See, now,
do,
now I got to deal with all these harsh barbs and ridicules.
you just go down to that, that search in the bar at the bottom,
I
right?
search in the bar at the bottom.
Like you got that Windows. What are you doing? Sarah's giving me stuff now.
Sarah there? Hello, Sarah. I can't see you because I'm searching for nightlights.
Richard says hello. So select Start and go to Settings.
I'm going to start and go to settings.
So that little gear? Go to the settings.
Yeah, I was in the settings, and now I'm in the display.
Okay, you're in display. Then there should
and
be.
And then you said look under color.
Nightlight settings. Just rewind back. Nightlight settings.
Nightlight settings.
Yeah.
And there's a little slider bar.
Yeah.
And I'm sliding it, and you say it doesn't do anything.
Did you turn it on?
Oh, do I have to turn it on?
You got to turn it on, yeah.
Oh.
Anyone can move a slider bar. It's the turning on that's the key.
Did you see any difference now?
A little bit, yeah. You don't look so ghostly. What do you think, Sarah? How does he look?
Much better.
Much better?
Yep. How do I look? I can't see myself. Do I look better now?
Yeah, you look good.
Am I?
Oh, it just went back. It just went back. Whatever you did.
Oh, gosh. Golly.
Oh, my goodness.
Gee willikers.
People tune in for this.
What if I slide it way down here?
Yeah.
But now my screen is super dark.
Well, then you went too far. You got to find that happy balance where your screen's not too dark.
I'm not happy. I'm not
casting on your face too hard.
I'm sure the people listening to the audio version are loving
this. This is classic material.
This is unacceptable because it's affecting my my screen. The screen brightness is changing for some reason.
The Cartridge Club this month is playing Donkey Kong Country 2. Have you given some Donkey Kong Country 2 any time?
I don't have time for this nonsense. I'm trying to play with a nightlight. That didn't change anything either. What? This is so weird because I put this on every recording. I set up my lights like this, and for some reason I'm just super blown out today.
You usually have like light coming in from the windows.
Like maybe not always. I usually
not on the side, but in the back.
I keep it like this, where I've got lights directly above me, and then I have a light in front of me, like bouncing off the wall, so I don't look like a skull.
Maybe it's a gloomy
now I'm
day.
just super blown out.
Is it gloomy?
It's gloomy, but I always have these things closed.
Well, sometimes like just the light coming in, from outside. Steven says you look like death.
Yeah. There.
This is great.
I don't know.
This is the best episode we've ever done.
Tapping out.
You look fine. You look fine. You look a little.
Yeah, I'm just
a little pale. Just a little pale.
Just like look how.
There you go.
Well, if I get closer, I'm better. Look at that.
Do the whole episode like that. We're good to go.
Is it this thing just acting funny? Like, because that doesn't look good either.
No.
I don't know. Something happened to my camera.
Oh, apparently my audio is no picnic either. Well, I am on the what's that called? Mic, the on the cam. I'm on that thing.
You're on
Yeah,
board.
yeah, I'm on that. Sorry,
Well, why don't you click on some sliders and
it's
move
all
them
I got.
around?
It's all I got
What
right
happened to your
now.
mic? Why are you in your living room anyway?
Well, I got some big changes that I can't talk about.
Oh
So
no.
I'm gonna have to leave everybody in the dark for
You
now.
mean you can't talk about it?
I got big changes. I
That's
can't.
the
I can't
only
say a word.
thing you do when you come here.
I can't
You
say
talk
anything.
about things.
I got big changes
Big
that
changes.
are happening, but I can't talk about it
Big
because
changes in Kevin's life that
yeah,
involve the basement where he keeps all of his precious video games.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. It does involve that. Yeah.
Hmm. Is there somebody else moving into your home?
No, I'm not. We're not gonna play any questions because
Okay.
you're gonna guess it too easily.
Well, are there things exiting your home?
Listen, I got something here to distract you to get you off of this. Check out what I picked up. Look at this.
Hey, neat. Is that the LP?
This is the soundtrack to Little Shop of Horrors,
Mm-hmm.
the LP version.
That's neat. I
So
love all the songs in that movie.
yeah, and I've never seen it before. And Sarah and I went out record shopping a few weeks ago, and they wanted a little. I don't know if you can see the price on there.
I cannot.
Can you see that?
Maybe you should
No.
slide some bars around because it's
Anyways,
super blown out.
it wasn't cheap, but I've never seen it before, so I had to grab it. Um, but I didn't, I don't really care for the cover too much. Like
No, some of the early advertisement stuff, like I years ago, um, there was a show that came around, and they had movie posters, like actual, like real movie posters that were used in the theaters as advertisement, and they had a whole bunch of different movies. I was flipping through them, and I came across Little Shop of Horrors. Like, oh man, that's great! I'd love to have an authentic, original poster from that movie. It's just that it wasn't a very good poster.
yeah,
There's a weird, I don't know, maybe it was just the Japanese poster they had. It was just really, really, really bad Photoshop, where it was just like air, like the sky, and then they had like little Rick Moranis and little Steve Martin and all the characters just floating. And,
hmm.
and it looked terrible. It looked like somebody just was messing around with Photoshop the first day, and they're like, okay, there you go, make that a poster.
Which is weird because the artwork on the VHS is fantastic. It's like one of the best. I wish I would have
Yeah,
brought it, but it's
I don't know. I'm sure there's a couple different ones. The one that they have now is the Rick Moranis and the little like kind of mini Audrey
yeah.
2 close up.
No, let me look it up.
Um, the ones that I've seen before, at least because I have the Japanese version, is the like that bad clip art where everything's just flying around in space.
Yeah, no, the that's not the VHS I have.
If I keep my hands up, the lighting isn't so bad.
Yeah, you can just put your hands there.
I don't know what's
That
going
works.
on. I hold my hands here, and then as soon as I take them away, I'm all blown out. Look at that. Isn't
I
that
can't
weird?
share this thing. Let me
Are
put it
you
over here.
listening to this, audio fans?
They are loving it. Just wait. I got
Uh,
something. I got something to show those audio fans.
are we gonna hold things in front of the camera again?
No, no.
Love doing that.
Oh, here it is. Chrome tab. That one? No, that one. There we go. There. That's the artwork I'm talking about.
Yeah. That's the good one.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
yeah. I wish that was on. I wish that was this. That would have been. I know they would be different cropping of it, but
Have you listened to it yet?
oh yeah,
Okay, so it is actually from the film. It's not like some university stage play.
No, 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 no.
Okay.
It's the soundtrack to the film.
Okay.
But getting back a little bit to my life
Right, you're
change,
going to explain about what's going on in your
I'm not
house.
going to explain about what's going on, but I am
Why
just
is
going to,
it? All right, can you at least say why it's a secret?
because there are people out, we haven't told yet. And out of respect, we have to tell some people. And not everything is concrete just yet. Like we're not past the point of no return. Am I being vague
Hmm.
enough, Sarah?
Yes.
Sarah says I'm being vague enough.
That's enough.
She says that's enough.
Hmm.
So
I
that's
see.
why.
Now I understand why you're up in the living room. It's because Sarah does not trust you to be far enough away.
That's right.
She's essentially the dump button. She's going to just come in
Sure.
and pull the actual cords.
Well, there's no cord. She actually has the power bar right by her hands, and she's ready to like click it off. She hears something she doesn't like, she's gonna.
I know. I'm just gonna see Sarah's hand swoop into frame and knock the PC on the floor.
But I do have to say that this change
Mm-hmm.
will interrupt this program for
How dare you?
a period of time.
How dare you?
A period of time. I don't know how long, but it will be a period of
Yeah.
time.
Steven's got a good point. Why bring it up at all then?
Because we won't be doing the show for a little bit.
Oh, all right. Can you tell me when we won't be doing the show for a little bit?
Well, this will be the last one until I come back.
Come back.
Unless you
Come
want
back. All
unless you
right.
want to do it. Unless you want to go ahead and fill in.
Until you come back, can you say where you're going?
Well, I won't be here on this show.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you're not leaving your home for any period of time.
Hmm?
All
What?
right.
What?
We've got vagaries and vagaries.
I know you're breaking up here. I'm not.
I see.
Can't hear.
More of my technological issues.
Mm.
I see.
Getting
So
a
all right.
Beethoven
So
dog? Or getting a Saint Bernard? What is he talking about?
so you're saying as of July 15th, right now, that's what we're doing this one.
Yeah.
So there will not be an episode at the end of this month.
No,
Okay.
definitely not.
All right.
Unless everything falls in the crapper, and then I'll be back and I'll say that was all nothing. Forget everything.
Okay.
But after we're done recording, I will tell you what's going on. I will tell
Okay.
you what's going on. But just to everybody else out there, and you'll find out soon enough. You'll probably find out before you hear this episode, because I'll probably say something on social media. But as for right now.
Right now.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there is clearly no more humor to be mined from this situation, so we can move on.
No, but if you did start mining some more, there was more I have not shown you from this thing to distract you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let me see that picture on the back there.
Well, like I said, the cover is kind of lame.
But the cover is fine. Yeah, it's doesn't.
Fine. It's just it's not that VHS. You know.
Yeah.
It's not this. This is what. Oops. I'm stream. That's what
it's a fine logo, is what it is. But that's all it is.
But on the back, we get some.
A little
cool
cast
stuff.
photos. You get the Audrey too.
That's pretty cool.
Hey.
And then it does fold out.
Ooh, that's really nice.
Yeah. So they put all the good stuff on the inside and the back. And I don't think there was anything. No, nothing there.
I can't believe just how underappreciated that film is.
Well,
there's all this like the 80s revival and things, and people are constantly referencing Gremlins or Ghostbusters, all the big IP and everything. But how come Little Shop of Horrors doesn't get any love? I'm sure it's got they got those Funko Pops and
They
things like
do.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it just feels like it doesn't get a lot of attention. Is it because
Yeah.
it's a musical?
I don't
People
know.
just dismiss it like, oh, they're singing in that movie.
I think part of it might be because it's dark, like it's a dark humor, and
Yeah, I
Americans,
don't
like
know.
a lot of American, like it just like what is dark humor in pop culture in America? There really isn't that much, like on a big scale, like a really popular piece of dark humor.
I suppose, but people really like to pick up on the irony and sarcasm and stuff now, and it kind of feels like it fits in there.
Yeah.
Like, isn't it crazy that the monster wins at the end? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, depending on what version of the movie you watch.
That's
But
true. That's very true. I guess people didn't know until 10 years ago or so when the director's cut came out.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, the album has like it's all the cats. It's like Steve Martin on there and Rick Moranis. You know,
Hmm.
and hello, Kyle.
Hey, Kyle's here.
Welcome, welcome. Okay, that's it.
Where's
We got the
Thanks for coming
awkwardness.
out, everybody.
We got the awkwardness out of the way. That's it.
Oh gosh, we didn't even do our finish the warm up thing. Did they pick a game for the beat the bandy? I haven't checked.
I don't know. I didn't look either. Are we both going to look right now?
I'm gonna let you look right now, and I'm just gonna say it's another month where Duke has the lead.
Oh, I have to. What? I'm not logged in on this computer. Wait, hold on.
What are you not logged into?
Discord.
Oh,
Update 1 of 15. All right, forget it.
uh-huh.
What games have you been playing? Why does
I
Steam
did
suck?
play a game. If you look under the game section, I actually did
I
put
am.
something.
I see Hunt down. Hunt
Big change I can't
down.
talk about. Show hiatus. My
We did all
goodness.
that. We're done.
Yeah, I know. I'm just thinking like if I had actually looked at the outline before we started, I would have been like all like nervous and everything.
No,
The
you
way you
wouldn't
wrote
have.
that. Oh
You
my
would not have.
goodness.
You would not have been nervous.
Big thing I can't talk about. Are we getting canceled? Pulling
No,
us off the air?
no, absolutely not.
Well, Steam does suck. In many ways, Steam does not suck. But I'm trying to see if I can like hold something up here so I don't keep my hand up the entire time. I'll talk with my hands. That'll help.
That works.
That'll help. So Steam, they had the summer sale.
Yeah.
Lots of games.
I tried to buy you a game.
60% off, 70% off, 80% off. And I thank you for trying to buy me a game. I really hope you didn't get charged.
I don't know what happened to it. When I went back onto Steam, it was still in my cart.
I don't know. Well, I also tried to buy some games. Some gifts. Because every time one of these sales comes around, the whole gift exchange starts going, which is a wonderful little thing on Steam that early on I forgot about, and then over the years people send me a little gift, and they're like, "Wow, hey, that's great, that's perfect for me because it's not another thing that is taking up space in my house. It's right there on the computer in the ether where it can just be accessed at any time." And it allows me to also return a gift or send a gift without having to worry about international shipping and all that stuff, because that's always a pain. So I was like, this is a great little thing. And every time these summer sale, winter sales come up, nice opportunity to just say, hey, here's a little something for you. So I got a couple of things during this summer sale from people, and I was like, oh, I always appreciate that. Let me get you back. And in the past, I've successfully sent games to people in Canada, in America. I don't think I've tried any other countries, but no problem. Here we go, all the stuff. So I was in that mode. I was like, all right, let me send some things out here. I pick a few people on my list there, And I go and I'm looking and I'm checking wish lists for the people that have wish lists, taking a shot in the dark for people who don't have wish lists. Some of them might be present in the chat today,
Yep.
being all smug. And yeah, Kyle says right there, I managed to get Vox a game. He sure did. I thank you, Kyle. He got me a game off my wish list that I was hesitant to pull the trigger on it. He solved the problem for me. And I was looking at Kyle. I was like, hey, let me get something for Kyle. So I look in there, like, I don't know what he needs. I don't know what he wants, but this looks fun. This looks like a game that says Kyle. So I put that, I select the purchase as a gift. All right, go to the next menu. And you get the little drop down of names from people in your friends there. And Steam does a wonderful thing where if somebody owns a game, there's a little blurb there. It says, so and so already owns this game. Or so and so is wished for this game. I think that's a great feature. I love it. Because then if I made a mistake, I can just very quickly go back, not waste any time, pick a different game. So I click on the name there. And then it brings up the little message box. You can write a little personalized message, and it's character limited there. So I want to be a little clever, a little funny. I'm taking time to think of a little message I want to say. Like click, 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 click. Write all that in there. Laugh at my own jokes, and then you got the little, best wishes, hugs and kisses, and all that stuff. I choose the hugs and kisses.
Of course.
And sign my name. And then I go to the next page, and it's got the little thing on the top. It's like, oh, step 1. Oh, you're at step 2. You're at step 3. Oh, you're almost at step 4. You're almost done with this process. And then, you select your payment. Like, oh, okay, do I want to do credit card? Do I want to do prepaid card? What do I want to do? All right, select all that. Go to the next page, and it's like, finalize your purchase. And that's when they send a little warning. A little message flashes up top. It's a quick message. You may not even notice it at first. You might click on the continue button, which is still clickable, even though it's going to send you right back to the same page. It's going to loop you back until you see that message. The message that says, hey, I'm paraphrasing here. The game you're trying to buy cannot be sent to a person in this region because the price of the game is different where you live and where they live.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, all right. I know I've sent games before. Maybe for some reason this particular sale, maybe it's 10% off here, maybe it's 20% off there, something like that. I was like, okay, let me go back and try this again. So go all the way back. Got to take the thing out of my cart first. Got to go to my cart, and delete that. Pick a new game. Go back to the purchase as a gift. Drop down menu of names. All right, click on the name. All right, there's the message thing again. All right, let me type a message, thing. Choose your payment method. Okay, choose that. Continue. Message comes up again. You can't send this game to a person in another region because the price is different.
Yeah.
Right. I had to go like 75% through the whole process before I find out. And I tried again, and I tried again, and I tried again, and nothing is working. None of the prices, like, all right, forget it. I can't do, obviously it's sale time. Let's just go to something that's not discounted. Let's go to a game that's full price, and I'll do that. Same thing. Keep going over and over. Even at full price, I still get the same message. I tried it for people in the US. I tried it for people in Canada. I just cannot send a game through Steam's gifting service now. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's that price difference.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know if it's a matter of the Japanese yen has been lowering in value recently. It's like really bad. It's the lowest it's been in 20 years.
Oh.
Where like usually the way I would normally compare it to people is that 1 yen is kind of like 1 penny, but then there's a little difference. It might be like 1.5, a little something. But now it's like 140 yen to $1.
Mm.
So it's like it's dropped in value a lot. So I'm wondering, like, is that it? Is it because the yen is so low, like they're not equating it? But I just think it's really stupid on Steam's part that they don't tell you until you're 75% through
Yeah.
the process. It'd be really nice if that little bar where it says, hey, so and so already owns this game, maybe put a little blurb, say, sorry, you can't gift this to someone in that country. Tell me right away instead of making me go through the whole process.
Yeah.
Or what would make more sense and would get Steam more money is when you get to the payment section, say, hey, you know what? The game has a different value in another country. If you want to buy this and send it as a gift, it's going to cost you 20 cents more or whatever the difference is for these sale prices, these games that cost $1 during sale season. Like, I'll pay the extra money. Just tell me what it is and let me buy the game. But now it seems like I can't send games to anybody in a different country. So for that, I complained to Steam, got no response. And now I'm just yelling at the internet.
Yeah. Back in the day, about 10 years ago, everything on Steam was just USD. Didn't matter where you were.
Hmm.
You sold USD, which was great because the dollar at the time was on par with the US dollar. And everything in the States was cheaper. So you can get games for dirt cheap. But then as soon as our dollar started to slip, and then they started talking about, yeah, let's have like all different regions have their own pricing and all that, and that's pretty much what it is. It's like every region has a different price, and if they don't jive, if they're not the same price, then it doesn't even matter if it's more, if it's less, or whatever. They just won't let you buy it for somebody. And I remember
but
people were doing that. Like they were like in Australia, games were like super expensive, right? They're over like $100. This was like 10 years ago. They probably still are. So you'd get somebody in the States to buy you the same game for 60 American dollars, which was way cheaper, and then you would just reimburse them, pay them back.
right. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, there's the greediness on their part, and I get it. But at the same time, I think if just tell me honestly, if I want to send this to another region, what's the price? What is it like? It's $5 here, but it's $5.50 there. What's the difference? Just I'll pay it. Just tell me what it is. I do appreciate them showing the price in local currency because if I do buy something that's in
Yeah.
U.S. dollars, then I gotta sit there and figure out what is this going to be on my credit card. Am I going to remember why is this suddenly a purchase for a different amount? And, just give me local currency, but don't prohibit me from buying things. I can go to Amazon .ca and I can order something and like send it to your house and I could pay for it here.
Yeah.
Especially when we're talking about these Steam games that are a couple of bucks.
Yeah.
Come on. Steam
Kyle,
sucks.
Kyle says they're too busy with Steam Deck to worry themselves with your problems. Steven says, you know what would get Steam more money? Half-Life 3.
Maybe.
And then Kyle adds Portal 3, Left 4 Dead 3, and Team Fortress 3.
Didn't the Left 4 Dead people make a different game that's the same game with a different name?
I don't know if it was the Left 4 Dead people, but there have been a lot of games that have come out that are the spiritual successor to Left 4 Dead.
Right. Back 4 Blood. That's what it was.
Oh, okay, yeah. Maybe. I don't know.
It's got the number 4 in it.
I'm out of the loop with the games.
I think I remember seeing it. Yeah. Oh, you know what? Got me though. There's a game on Steam that I wish listed. It's like not available yet, and I wasn't sure if it was actually going to become a game. I thought maybe it was just like a dead project. It's a RoboCop game. Called Rogue something.
Like an official tie-in to the RoboCop. universe?
All it was a couple of screenshots, and it was like RoboCop something something, so their subtitle is, and it was just like really generic looking backgrounds and stuff, but it had the name RoboCop. And I was like, okay, wish list. So when more information comes, bring it my way. And then for a long time, nothing, nothing, nothing. I was like, is this just a dead project? What's going on here? And then, yes, Steven's got it. New trailer came out just like a week or so ago that showed a little bit of gameplay. And yeah, it's a RoboCop. And it sounds like they're using voice clips. I think there's only one shot of RoboCop in the trailer. And it's clearly like from the movie. Unless they got Peter Weller back.
I mean, what else is he doing?
Star Trek Into Darkness. Even that's been like 10 years or so.
Yeah, and he had a bit part on Sons of Anarchy, but that's about 10 years ago now too. So
yeah, well, he's up there now. He's got to be in his 70s or so.
Yeah, just sit there and talk some lines into a microphone. It's not not a hard gig.
I don't know. So maybe they got him, or maybe they're just using old voice clips. But first-person shooter RoboCop game, so could be cool.
Yeah.
But I did start playing a game that I've had for a while, because you know what, with these Steam games, you do tend to buy a lot of games and they just sit there for a while,
and you forget about them.
Yeah, you forget all about them. Then that was the case with this one, a game called Hunt Down, which I guess Broforce, or do you remember that Elevator Action Returns, the arcade game?
Yep.
It kind of like that, platforming, run around, shoot stuff.
Oh yeah, okay. I know this game.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Did you play it all the way through, or?
I think I'm about halfway through.
Okay.
It's very 80s nostalgia, just in tone, like going for an 80s action movie vibe. And I didn't realize I'm halfway through the game. I just suddenly started finding secrets, which you jump. You can always tell in those games, like, hey, I bet if I jump over here, that wall's empty, and I'm gonna find like some power ups and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd find those, but then later on, I started finding something, and it would go secret found. And then I was in this little room, and I was like, "There's Gizmo. There's a little Gizmo in a box, and he's singing the little Gizmo song that he sings in Gremlins." I was like, that's neat. And then later on, I find another one, which I believe, I'm 90% sure, but I haven't seen. I saw this movie once a long time ago. I've never watched it again. I believe it was a Blade Runner reference. There's like a guy in a trench coat hanging off of a building ledge. I think that was the scene in Blade Runner.
Maybe. I don't know. I watched
Blade Runner is one of those movies that I don't really care to ever watch again. So I don't know.
Oh, I like Blade Runner. I there's so many different versions of that movie, but
that's the other thing. I don't know which version I'm supposed to watch.
Yeah.
Voiceover, no voiceover, unicorns. What? I don't know.
That's the one I remember when I was a kid. Was the one with the voiceover and that. And I would like to watch that version again, but apparently it's really bad. But I remember liking it when I was a kid. But
I watched it at school, and I remember the teacher explaining to us, like, there's voiceover, but apparently there's another version that's really hard to find or something. But nowadays, all of that's come out. You buy them, and it's just like, it's got 5 different versions on it.
It does, yeah. It's crazy. Yeah, there is a Terminator game on Steam as well that I've heard good things about it, but it's always like around $40, I think, even on sale. So I've never.
You play as the Terminator, or you fight the Terminators?
You know what? I don't know.
It's just a Terminator game.
I don't know. It's just a Terminator game. Put it on the wish list. When it's $10, maybe I'll think about looking at it closer.
Yeah.
Well, I played a game. I'm playing a game as well. There was some news the other day that Ubisoft was going to drop a bunch of their digital games, like their games on their store altogether. Like even if you bought it, you wouldn't be able to access it. I think they have backtracked on that since, or backpedaled, or whatever the heck you want to call it. They said, no, we're not going to do that. If you bought it, you can still download it. It's just the DLC that you cannot access, which just seems weird. Anyways, I have a few games on the Ubisoft what is their thing? Their store? I can't remember.
They got their
Ubisoft.
own online store too.
Yeah, it's what the heck's it called? I
Why
don't
would it
remember.
not be called Ubisoft Store or like have their name in it
Ubisoft
somewhere?
Connect. Is that what it's called? I guess. Yeah, I guess it's called Ubisoft Connect. Anyways, I so I went on the store because there's one game that I got on there that I've never played, and that is what the heck's it called? Who's that guy? Sam. What's that guy's name?
Sam Raimi?
No, Splinter Cell, the Blacklist. I've had that on there forever. I've never played it. I think I bought it like 10 years ago and it's been sitting in there. So I downloaded that because I better get to that. But then I remembered I also have a game in there, and I'm very happy to have this game in there because I don't think you can buy it. It's Driver San Francisco, and it's one of my
Driver, I
favorite.
remember that game on the old PlayStation 1.
Yeah, it's in that same universe. It's a sequel to the original Driver. But
Mm-hmm.
this one, Driver San Francisco, it's one of those games that just kind of flew under the radar, and it's really really good. But there was a lot of licensed music tied into it, and I think that's why they pulled it off their store. But it came out in 2011, so it's like an Xbox 360 PS3 game. Of course, on the PC you can play it in 4K, and it looks fantastic. But it's a really unique game. There's no other game that's like it. You play as this cop, and you're kind of stuck in the 70s because you drive around in this old Dodge Challenger, and you have a black partner in the car with you, and he's a black guy with an afro, and they kind of talk and act like as if they're in the 70s. And all the music is of the 70s, but the aesthetic of San Francisco is all from 2011. So it's kind of a reverse take on like how the Batman cartoon had like some modern stuff in it, but then like they had some
Yeah, but
old
it looked
aesthetic
very
with the
1940s
cars and
style. Yeah.
recorders and stuff like that. So it's kind of like that. It kind of has like a mixed aesthetic where half of it is modern, and the other half is in the 70s, and all the entire soundtrack is all like that 70s funk as you're driving around in this big old Dodge Challenger. But the gimmick of the game was that the guy was chasing this crime lord, and he gets into a car accident, and he wakes up with this ability to hop from out of his body into another person driving another car. So
Mm-hmm.
you can hop from car to car. So you can just like have an out of body experience and float over the city of San Francisco. Pick any car you want in the city and say, "Oh, I want to go there," and you just hop into that person's body and drive around with their car. And they're all licensed cars. It's like Pontiac Solstice, and they got
Mm-hmm.
Trans Ams and Dodge Neons and all sorts of crazy cars. But your mission is you're trying to track down this crime lord who busted out of prison, and your partner understands that you have this ability to hop out of people, and all the like the cut scenes are done in like these two little heads that talk while you're driving around, and that it's really well done.
Hmm.
There's a few problems with the game, like the map isn't the best, and to get around to like select different things, you got to go up and float above the city, and you're slowly like you can pause the game and look on the map and say, "Oh, that's the spot I want to get to." And if the game, was designed a little better, you could just pick that spot on the map and go to it. Instead, you got to go back to the game and float above the city and then float your way all the way. And it's not a very fast process. But other than that, it's really well done game. The racing is a little bit slippery too, but it's kind of plays into that 70s, with a lot of drift and that with rear wheel drives and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good times. It's a lot of fun, and all the language and everything. It's just all that like it feels like you're playing a film from the 1970s, one of those car chase films. So.
Well, that's all I did with the original Driver, which I had a ton of fun with when like that game came out way back when.
Yeah.
But I didn't play the actual missions.
Yeah, you just
There
drive
were like
around.
mini games, yeah, where you would just, like the cops are after you and you just have to survive, and they're going to come after you and start smashing into your car. Is this how the ghost of Rambox gets around too, though? Very, very nice. Steven's quick on some of these
Stevens, yeah,
things.
he's tying it all together.
Hmm. But yeah, it would just one of the things I would do is I would just park my car in an intersection, and then when other cars, would try to come through, I would just smash into them to disable them,
Yeah.
and then I would see how many cars I could just disable before my own car broke down, because it'd just be like a pile of cars around this intersection. It was, it's one of those games that I had a ton of fun with, but when I tried to revisit it, like 10 years ago or something, like,
Yeah.
oh, I used to have that game and play it.
Yeah.
Like, no, you can't touch it. You just,
Yeah, it's not the same. I
the game mechanics and visuals have progressed so much that it's just one of those untouchable fragments.
Well, you remember that game too had like one of the toughest tutorials. Like the hardest part of the game they put right at the beginning of that game was that tutorial where you're in that parking lot, or the underground. It was an underground parking lot, and you had to like do like these donuts and figure eights and stuff like that, and
Yeah, you basically have
spin
to
your car
learn how
around.
to play the game by
Yeah,
their rules, and
yeah,
their rules are pretty tough.
yeah. And instead of like it's cool because they do have strict mechanics but there's better ways. They found better ways to ease players into that learning curve instead of like giving it to you all at once and do all this before you can play the rest of the game. And there was stuff in that tutorial too that you didn't really need to ever do again. So it was kind of ridiculous if they put that
Hmm.
at the
Yeah, I
start.
like
But
the learn the one skill when
at
you
the
need
time,
it.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. They've definitely gotten better at that. But that whole underground uh, um, car parking lot
Parking structure. Yeah.
tutorial scene, that was all out of this movie called The Driver from the 70s, from the late 70s. There's a scene in that movie that's exactly like the way they laid everything out in that underground car lot was exactly from the movie The Driver. It was good. That's right. There is I do have a tutorial. I forgot all about that. I did put a tutorial on there, and that's one of the videos I left up on my channel.
Hmm.
Parkade, very good. Look at Stephen calling in the Canadian way to say parking lot. Parkade.
Parkade, really?
Parkade. That's
I
right.
can't remember that.
Very Canadian.
Going to the parkade.
Look at us talking about video games.
Yeah.
What's up with
Oh
that?
man.
I don't.
I don't know, if
Okay.
anything, the Steam sale got me to play a game. Oh gosh. Hey, I'm gonna slide down the movies then.
Oh, yeah. Let's go.
And first, a little note there. I might pull a Kevin.
And what is that? What is pulling a Kevin? I'd
Well,
love to
that's
know.
an excellent question, Kevin, because to pull a Kevin
Yes.
can actually have quite a few meanings.
It
It
can.
can it can mean to enjoy a paid vacation for 5-6 weeks at a time. That can be pulling a Kevin.
Okay. Yeah.
It can be to suddenly put the show on hiatus without telling your co-host. That can be pulling a Kevin.
Paid vacation. Where are you getting this from?
You've had plenty of these where I talk to you like, hey, here's my secret. I've been on vacation for like 3 weeks and I haven't told anybody.
Don't. There's people listening. Well, you know what? You can tell them now, actually, because with what I got planned,
But are you on vacation right now?
I just started vacation today. It's my first day of vacation. I got off work at 1 o'clock. And yeah.
Look at
There
you.
go.
There you go. Well, this particular instance, pull a Kevin, means to watch more movies than there are days in a given month.
Whoa.
Because I've seen your lists,
Yes.
and frequently you have watched, 2 movies in a single day, and
Yes.
then, you get to the end of the month and you've managed to watch like 35 movies, 40
Yes.
movies, whatever.
Yep. Yeah, I think my record was 60 something. I don't know. I'd have
60
Yeah,
something
it was
movies.
pretty
See,
crazy. There was a
very
ice storm. So there's a few days where I was stuck inside.
yeah. So recently, I have fallen back into movies as being my main bit of recreation. You know, it's just I've been more in the mood to sit down and watch movies, and part of that is I want to. You know, you buy all these movies, you get physical copies of things, you stick them on the shelves, and then a year goes by, 2 years goes by, and you're like, I still haven't watched that thing. So I've got a mixture of movies that I've bought that I have seen previously, but I just haven't watched the most recent acquisition, or it's a movie that I bought and I've just still never seen. Like I've still got a copy of uh, The Abyss, which I've never seen,
You're not
or
missing
I
much.
got some.
It's
I'm
okay.
curious though. I'm curious, but it's like 3 hours. So every time I decide, like, I'm gonna watch that, I'm like, I don't know if I want to sit down for 3 hours. Or I got some Tarantino movies that I haven't seen, and bunch of stuff
Yeah. Okay.
sits there. So I've just been pulling stuff off the shelves. Like, I'm gonna watch this tonight. I'm gonna watch this tonight. And currently, I am ahead. I've had a couple of days where I was able to watch two movies at once, and I kind of threw it off last night because I didn't watch any movies
Are,
yesterday.
are
But
are any of these movies Marvel movies? Are they ever going to get you to that goal of?
I think we all know the answer to that question. I have seen some comic book movies. I watched the Hellboy movies again.
Oh, okay. So that's one and two.
Yeah, which those movies I like more every time I watch them.
There is a reboot movie, right? That I haven't seen.
I haven't seen that one, and I watched the trailer for it, and Mila Jovovich is in that one.
Oh,
I did watch the trailer for that, and I didn't like the vibe. I didn't like the vibe of it. It seemed like I've never read the Hellboy comic, so I can't say what the tone is of the comic. But in the reboot movie, a lot of foul language being thrown around,
hmm.
which was not present in the Del Toro Hellboy movies. Which I kind of like them because they are a little campy and silly.
Yeah,
Like there's a
for
nice
sure.
balance there,
Yeah.
and the costumes and the puppeteering is excellent, especially the second one. There's some really fun makeup and effects going on. Guys in like big rubber troll suits and things. Very
Hmm.
fun. Um, so I don't know. I watched those. I watched the Mortal Kombat movies. The You ever see the original, the
No,
Paul W.S. Anderson directed Mortal Kombat film?
no. I just know the song.
Yeah, that song, it still hits me. That's a catchy tune. But I watched that. I've seen them before, Mortal Kombat and Mortal Kombat Annihilation, which I know a lot of people defend the only
That's
Marvel
Richard's.
movie is Howard the Duck.
That's
I
Richard's favorite.
really I do
That's his
genuinely
favorite.
enjoy Howard the Duck. I do genuinely enjoy them. There's a great scene in there where they're at the diner. They're at the it's like a Texas themed sushi restaurant.
I
And
still
and
haven't
you
seen the
got
movie.
you got Howard the Duck, like a duck from another planet. You got Leah Thompson, his kind of like his airhead girlfriend rocker, and then Jeffrey Jones is playing a scientist who has been possessed by a dark overlord alien. They're all sitting in this diner having a scene. It was wonderful. It's great.
He does make an appearance in one of the Marvel movies.
I've heard like he's just it's just like you
It's
just see
cameo.
him
Yeah,
for like a second.
yeah,
Eh, I like the '80s version. What was I talking about? The Mortal Kombat movies.
yes.
A lot of people defend the first one. They say, yeah, it's not a great movie, but it's really fun. And then they trash the second one, saying it was super cheap and cheesy, which is all accurate. But I do believe that both films are on par with each other. I think if you enjoy one, you should enjoy two. If you don't enjoy one, you probably won't enjoy two. I'm right down the middle. I can take them or leave them. I think that they're fine. A lot of people complain about them now, saying, "Oh, well, there's no blood, there's no gore. It's a Mortal Kombat movie. There's no gore." But you know what they did right? They got the camp. Because if you look back at the original Mortal Kombat games,
Oh yeah,
they're very silly.
yeah,
The sound effects, the little guy coming up going toasty and all
yeah.
that and everything, they're very silly games.
That's what made
And
the whole uproar over the violence in that game just so ridiculous because it was so cartoony. It's like
yeah,
who
yeah,
would take
yeah.
this seriously? It's like Tom and
And
Jerry.
yeah, like when you watch the movies, it's the same thing. It's just like no, it's just people in Mortal Kombat costumes having fight scenes. And
Yeah,
that's why I think part 2 might actually be a little bit better because they don't waste time with story. It's just like here's another one, here's another one, here's another one. And then all the characters disappear from the movie after their fight's over. It's like, the effects are terrible. There's no story, there's no character. It's just Mortal Kombat cosplay and the song kicks in. It's like, yeah, this is cool. If you imagine all the scenes from the movie as like cutscenes in the game, and just picture them digitized, it's fantastic.
well,
They're
I've
harmless.
never seen the movies, but I did have to run the TV show back in the late '90s.
Right. There was a short-lived TV show. I remember that one.
Yeah, and all I remember is that it was not very good. That's all.
Yeah. Well, it's like the Hercules Xena thing where it's just we're gonna have fights and we got a couple of sets and we just throw a story together.
I would say Hercules and Xena were like Shakespeare compared to that Mortal Kombat.
Well, they
TV
are
show.
very entertaining programs. I did watch a good movie. I watched Master and Commander: The Far Side of the World.
Love that movie.
I know I had seen parts of it in the past, but I never sat down and watched the whole thing, and it was really good. I definitely enjoyed it. You got the what's his face, Russell Crowe,
Yeah,
doing a very good job. Paul Bettany, is that his name?
I don't.
The
I
Vision. He's the Vision guy in the
Oh,
Marvel
okay.
movies.
Well, that's right. That's right. Yes, he is in that.
And I'm kind of curious because they were both in that Ron Howard movie, A Beautiful Mind, which came out, I think, around the exact same time, the early 2000s.
Hmm.
It was kind of weird when you see two actors, appear side by side, like immediately.
Yeah.
Like maybe it was the next film they did or something.
That was like when I watched Big Business, and both Fred Ward and Michael Gross showed up in Big Business. I'm like,
Oh,
it was like a Tremors reunion.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I think it was Big Business. What's that? The movie with there's two Bette Midlers and two Lily Tomlins, whatever.
I do not know what movie you're talking about.
That movie, anyways.
Fred Ward was in Naked Gun 33 and a third.
That's
That's
right.
all I have to contribute.
Fun fact.
Yeah.
He was also in The Right Stuff.
He was. I've never seen that movie.
It's
Heard
okay.
it's good.
It's all
Heard
right.
it's good. But Master and Commander, that was really fun because I want to look into the making of, because they're shooting on this boat and it's like an oldie boat with the sails and everything. And there's scenes with Russell Crowe up like way in the crow's nest. Russell Crowe. And, the boat's just going out on the water. And like, how much of this is just real, and where did they use CGI? Where did they use green screen? Did they just go out and shoot this in the middle of the ocean?
This one it came out in 2005-ish.
2003.
2003. So
Yeah. So I mean, CGI was certainly a thing then.
Yeah.
But it didn't look that great around that time.
No.
But this film looks good, and there's lots of practical things of wood splintering and things breaking down and people going up and down the nets and the sails and everything.
Well, how did you watch it? What did you?
I watched it on. I watched it right there. What do you mean?
No,
how
no,
did
no,
I watch it?
What format? Was it Netflix or?
No, actually, I only had a DVD of it,
Well,
and it still looked pretty good.
Look at the extras. Aren't the extras on
I
the
didn't
DVD?
have time to go through because it's a 2 disc set. It's got plenty of extras, but I
There you
haven't.
go. All
I
your
know, I
answers are
know. I
right
gotta,
there.
I gotta get in there and watch them. But yeah, it's just a very visually impressive film, and 90% of the movie, if not more, is all on that boat.
Yeah.
They head to the islands, and then they're like, whoa, change their mind, and then you get a few island scenes later on. But to do all that with that limited space, if they were actually shooting on a vessel, did they build this thing just for the movie? Was it like a historical thing they had? Was it some pre-existing set from movies that were made back when? I got so many questions.
Well, watch the DVD and then report back to us.
If I sit there and watch all these extras, I'm not going to pull a Kevin. I'm going to run out of time.
Well, all your answers
Which
are there on the DVD because I remember the extras were really, really intriguing on how they made that movie. But I can't
that's got to
remember any of
be
it.
one of those movies where it's going to be fun to sit down and watch that stuff. But I'm kind of dedicated now because it didn't happen. I didn't make the decision like I'm going to sit down and I'm going to watch more movies than there are days in this month, and then just start like, okay, I'm going to watch all the 90-minute movies and watch things fast just to get to the goal. It's not an empty victory. I'm just watching movies I want to watch. And it just happened that way. But now I'm kind of determined. But I kind of threw myself off track last night because I sat down and I finally watched the first episode of the current Better Call Saul season. So I am going to get super distracted because now I got to know. And I want to catch up. I want to be able to watch the ending at the same time as everybody else so we don't have to, withhold talking about it. But it's going to throw me off. Which I was nervous to start it up because you told me the first episode was 2 hours.
It was
I'm guessing it was probably 2 episodes because it was just a 1 hour episode.
Yeah.
But I was ready for it. I was sitting down. I was like, I'm going to watch 2 hours of this. And then I saw a little time code come up like 56 minutes. Ooh, okay.
Kyle's got a good question here. When watching a movie, do you guys tend to watch the extras and behind the scenes and audio commentary as well? Or do you go back later to watch all those things?
If it's the first time I'm watching the movie, it would absolutely be later.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, sit down and listen to the commentary.
Yeah. Yeah, to do it all in one shot. It depends on the movie. If it's a movie that I love too,
That's what I would do 20 years ago when DVDs first came out and I was getting all these extras. I was like, wow, look at this, because that's why I bought them. So I'd watch the movie and then I'd watch all the deleted scenes, all the behind the scenes stuff. I'd go back and listen to the commentary. It would be like, an investment. I'd sit there and I'd watch all the content on the disc.
Yeah.
And I still buy things because they have the extras. I'm like, oh, that looks fun. That looks fun. But nowadays it's very rare that I sit down and go through them.
Yeah. Especially if the extra is of substantial length.
Yeah.
But if it's like, sometimes like those Hitchcock movies where we'll have like a little 12-minute documentary on a specific scene that you've seen. Like I remember there was one for Suspicion and Cary Grant comes up so his wife suspects that she is being poisoned by her husband. And he comes up the stairs with a glass of milk for her. And the glass of milk is glowing as he's coming up the stairs. And you're like, how the hell did he get a glass of milk to glow? And in the DVDs was bonus was that scene and how he pulled it off. I'll let you watch the movie and watch that extra to find out. It was very fascinating.
Back in the day, they probably just put mercury or asbestos in there or something.
Yes. No, they actually had Cary Grant holds a piece of nuclear radioactive material behind the glass.
One of those plutonium rods.
Yeah, just, like Homer Simpson. Right? But, yeah. So if it's something like that you're just like, wow, the hell did they do that? I got to find out right away. But that doesn't happen as often anymore. And I can't. It's been a couple of years since I've sat and listened to an entire commentary, but there's definitely a lot on my backlog that I do want to listen to.
Yeah, there are tons. There are times like I just recently rewatched the Clash of the Titans remake, the one from 2010. Um, and then right after I watched it, I'm like, it feels like there's a couple of things missing here. Feels like there's a couple of scenes that were cut. And so I checked out the deleted scenes and I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that should have been there. And then that was interesting because they had all these deleted scenes and
Steven.
Steven.
Richard gives his own glow.
It's like Steven's not focused on his job at all.
No.
For some reason, this is more interesting. But yeah, then that one was interesting because they had all these deleted scenes that were contradictory to what was in the film. So clearly they were from the results of a reshoot. So they had shot the movie one way, which, by the way, side point, Dr. Bashir is in that movie. He's one of the gods.
That guy gets around. He's in a few things.
He's always in the background. He's like, oh yeah, that's him.
Mm-hmm.
He does stuff.
Yeah.
He does things. He got to be next to Bob Hoskins in a movie. I was like, hey, good for him. Acting with Bob Hoskins.
He's in a couple of seasons of Game of Thrones.
I heard that, yeah. So yeah, it was interesting just to see like, oh, there's all these remnants from what they originally were gonna do, and then they went and reshot it. And I'm thinking of Reanimator. That's the one where they had some missing scenes. I'm like, okay. So sometimes the deleted scenes I'll go and watch immediately after.
Well, like a Little Shop of Horrors, that was one that I absolutely had to watch because I'd never seen the different ending before, you know. So for sure. And then Inner Space, that was another one where I watched because I want like that one had like some crazy special effects in it, like with the faces and everything. And I wanted to watch how they did all that.
Yeah, a lot of times if they, especially if it's highlighted, like here's how we did this effect in this movie, then it's like, I want to see that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and a lot of the good ones will do that. They'll like specifically like give you like that special effects thing because a lot of extras I find on Blu-rays, like it's like part of the promotion for the movie.
Yeah, I hate those.
Yeah,
like they're so terrible.
You're wasting my time. And the actors talking about the character that they're going to be playing in the movie. It's like I just watched the movie. I don't need to hear like a teaser about this character that you're playing.
I hate that's exactly what it is. It's some kind of promotional piece that was put together. It's just clips of the movie.
Yeah.
Actor sitting in a chair. Hey, I'm really excited to work with these people, and the character, the effects are great. Yeah. Cut to a minute of effect shots.
Yeah. Oh, I had a lot of fun working with it.
Oh, they're garbage. I hate those things. Yeah. It's just filler.
But I do find myself trying to consume so much material now that a lot of times the audio commentary, like Breaking Bad, there are so many episodes with full commentary with everybody that you would want in you got Walter White, you got Jesse Pinkman, you got Vince Gilligan. They're all doing an audio commentary for this amazing episode of the show, but I got to get to like the next episode, because I'm trying to cram them all in before the ending of Better Call Saul. So.
Yeah. How far are you now?
We are about, I think we got 2 episodes left of season 1 of Better Call Saul.
Okay, so you finished Breaking Bad. You're back.
Yeah, it's in the notes here. Do you want me to skip to that right now, or do you want to?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
No, I'm good on my movies.
Okay. Breaking Bad. Well, just to answer Steven's question, because I did actually have this in the notes for Kids in the Hall. Steven asked if I had watched the new Kids in the Hall. Worth watching. If you are a fan of the old Kids in the Hall show, if you love the old Kids in the Hall show, it's like they never left. It's like nothing has changed. It's just more of classic Kids in the Hall. They do a few things to call to the fact that they are so much older now, and some of the skits reflect on how much they're older now, but a lot of them are just like it's like they wrote it 30 years ago, and they're just playing it like, who cares that we're older now? Like there's like, how like they would dress. I don't know. Have you ever watched Kids in the Hall? Were you ever a fan of
I've
that
seen
show?
bits and pieces here and there.
So
Yeah.
like a lot of their shtick is that they would dress up as the female characters in the skits, right?
The only one I couldn't watch was that they were the ones that did that chicken lady, right?
Yeah, Chicken Lady.
I
She
anytime I saw that chicken lady sketch, I had to change the channel. I couldn't sit and watch that.
she
Disturbed me.
I love Chicken Lady. I think she's hilarious.
I don't
But
know. I
she,
saw it
she's
as a kid and I found it disturbing, and I
that
just like.
that
But to
was
be fair, like Monty Python, when they would dress up as women, it always bothered me when I was little. I was like, what's going on here? These people look funny. John Cleese, in a wig, just looked really funny to me. I don't know.
well. Anyways, like Kevin McDonald is playing he plays a pregnant woman in one skit, right? Even though he's like a 60-some-year-old man. So just that kind of thing. But I have watched the first 3 episodes, I think, of that Kids in the Hall, because Sarah's not too much of a fan, so I kind of catch it when I have some time to myself, and I think it's fantastic. I think it's great. Oh, and Stephen did watch the first episode, and there was some naked bodies in that first episode, and I'm comfortable in my manliness to see another man naked and not get offended.
What is this playing on? What?
It's on Prime here in Canada. I'm not sure where it is. I think it is an Amazon Prime original. So they do actually mention Amazon Prime.
And they allow nudity on that, or
Yeah,
is
it's
this,
nudity, cussing, the whole bit. That's the other thing too. It's like on the old show they couldn't cuss, and in this one it's just like fuck you, fuck you. It's good, good times. It's not overdone or anything like that though. It's when it's appropriate. I thought it was hilarious, so I liked it. I was laughing my ass off last night when I was watching it.
How long ago did Kids in the Hall come out? Was that in the 90s?
I think early 90s, 89 to 95, I believe it said on the tombstone. It was a really funny way that they brought back the show. So they did the show, and then they did the movie Brain Candy, and the Brain Candy is like a notorious flop. Like it didn't do very well. So the show starts off with somebody at a yard sale trying to decide whether or not they should buy Brain Candy on VHS or Problem Child 2 on VHS for $1, right? And she's like, I don't know. I guess I'll get this Brain Candy. And so she buys it for a loonie, hands it over a loonie to Scott Thompson, and that breaks the curse because suddenly Brain Candy broke even 30 years later, and they could come back and do the show. I thought it was a clever way to bring it back. Anyways, good times. So Breaking Bad, so we've finished Breaking Bad, and I've always been a little bit down on the ending, but watching it this time, I'm a little less down on the ending. A little bit.
Maybe I have to watch it again because I'm the same way. But again, the whole last season, a little odd to me.
It does
not bad, like well executed for what it was. It's just the decision.
Was it you that said to me that it felt like as if the end of season 4 wrapped everything up?
Yes, and then your rebuttal was that because that was the next transition for Walter White and I understood that, and that's where I thought it was going, but it's like the fresh slate of supporting cast. It's like you had all these cast members going all the way through season 4, and they were like slowly developed and built, and then it's just like, whoosh, okay, now we've got the core. But we're developing all these new supporting cast members, and I didn't, they didn't feel strong enough to fill the shoes of those that came before them.
Yeah, fair enough. They were definitely less memorable. Like I didn't remember them.
Or even if they had been slowly integrated earlier, if there was like they were, something that was coming up, like a little bit of season 3, a little bit of season 4, and then boom, we switch focus to them. But it was basically just, hit a wall, okay, start building brand new.
I do like it felt to me it felt natural in the show. It didn't feel forced, because naturally the people that Gus dealt with wouldn't be directly
Yeah, I
involved
know,
with
I know.
Walt.
It's
So
like it
when
makes
they
sense.
yeah,
It's not a bad execution. It's more just I really, really liked the core group there.
yeah.
And, now in Better Call Saul, all of them are back again. So it's like, yes, these are the people I want to hang out with and see what goes on in their lives.
Better Call Saul feels a lot more I don't want to say fleshed out, but just planned out better. Whereas
Yeah.
Breaking Bad was like they were kind of going by the seat of their pants a little bit because a lot of times they didn't know if they were going to get that next season, right? Like he had everything planned out, but you had to constantly try to keep people invested by having like the big moment to get to the next season. Because Breaking Bad was a very slow burn. Like people were not watching it until the final season, really.
Yeah. It kind of had the Seinfeld's thing where
Well,
people didn't really notice it, and then
Seinfeld took a
suddenly later
couple
on.
of couple of seasons. I remember nobody was watching Breaking Bad, and then all of a sudden it was coming up to that finale, and I think it might have came on Netflix or something. People just caught on to it somehow, and the finale was a big deal. But
Yeah, well, I agree. I think with Breaking Bad, they were like they had all these ideas, and then it would like we're gonna do this. Oh, well, let's do that, and we'll do that. And there are a couple little things throughout the series where it's like, oh, where did that idea go? What happened with that? Well,
mhm.
why was this introduced and then not followed up on? And so you got a couple of those loose ends that just kind of go nowhere. So by the time they got to Better Call Saul and they had already established what happens to Saul Goodman, and they had their audience and they were able to, like you say, flesh it out more. Better Call Saul does feel like a more controlled show.
Yeah, like I mean, even the way the seasons are structured in that, like every season is exactly 10 episodes. The episodes are much longer. Like they come to a natural conclusion instead of trying to hit that 45 to 47
Mm-hmm.
minute mark.
Yeah,
Like Breaking Bad, I assume was forced to because it was structured to fit within its 1 hour time slot. Whereas by
right.
the time we got the Better Call Saul, it was just like Vince Gilligan, you're a genius. Do your thing.
Yeah.
Make it whatever you want.
The only slight detraction I have with the final season of Better Call Saul now is it's a little bit of The Irishman, where everybody's just so old. It's like
Yes. Well,
it's
I
it's a little nitpick. What are you gonna do? But
yeah, I kind of like that about the show though too. It's because there are a lot of flashbacks at the beginning of Better Call Saul,
mhm,
um, where they're like, Slippin' Jimmy's supposed to be like a 20-year-old go-getter in Chicago, and it's
mhm.
old Bob Odenkirk, a guy pushing 50. But like, would you want them to recast to a
No,
different
and yeah,
actor
and
or
you don't want
something?
them to do the bad digital de
Yeah,
aging or
yeah,
anything. It's just you just have to accept it.
yeah,
They're telling these are the people. They're telling the story,
yeah.
and it's a good story, and it's told well. It's just you gotta
It is.
look at those high definition wrinkles.
But I will say for the ending of Better Call Saul, I do, or of Breaking Bad, I do feel better about it. There are a couple things that still don't sit very well with me. The one thing I totally forgot, I didn't realize, is that Jesse didn't get anything at the end of that series. He got like screwed over so badly. Like they put him through everything in that show.
Mhm.
Killing his loved ones and just constantly mind torturing that. Now at the end of the show, it's like, yeah, you're spoiler alert for Breaking Bad, tune away, stop listening if you don't want to. But at the end of that show, he was in captivity. You're now free. He got no financial gain or anything like that. Got a lot of life experience, but that's about it. Poor Steven. We're losing Steven on the Breaking Bad talk. Sorry,
We
Steven.
haven't said anything about Star Trek today.
You're missing it.
It doesn't matter what we talk about. There's always going to be some subject. So there are people like, I don't want to hear about this. Whoa! Where'd you get that?
We're beaming up. Notify transporter room. Enterprise to Captain Kirk. Come in, Captain.
I want one.
This is the greatest.
Where'd you get that?
Christmas ornament.
This is Christmas ornament.
This is meant to hang on your tree. I've never hung it on a tree. I always just keep it around and just like that.
Can you flip it?
No, unfortunately not. You can try, but
you got to loosen that thing up.
No, I don't. I want to keep it. I want to keep it nice.
And you got to put a little piece of Velcro on there so you can stick it to your back like Kirk did.
It's not exactly like proper size.
It's a little small, but
yeah,
I don't care. Sounds right.
I love it. There you go. There's your Star Trek segment.
There you go. You got Steven back.
And this thing came out in 2008, so I probably got it for Christmas in 2008, and I've never changed the batteries in it. It's still humming along. It's
dilithium crystals are holding strong.
Yeah, it's just got some of those watch batteries in it.
You got a Knight Rider ornament over there?
No, that's my ringtone. I'm a nerd. What can I say?
My ringtone makes Star Trek sounds.
So yeah, Breaking Bad. Jesse got nothing. I hate the fact that Walter got a little bit of something because he's terrible. Walter was a terrible person. You guys that are all on Skylar, you guys got to smarten up. She was the only person on that show, the only person that tried to help Walter. I tried to make it work with Walter. Nobody else did. Maybe Jesse sometimes, but he was still back and forth and trying to kill him and stuff like that.
Yeah, I wish that they didn't end with such a bad relationship.
Sarah says 10 minutes. Okay. Well, yeah. Well, and really, like Walter Jr., he had the reaction that that you'd think Skylar would have. He I don't want anything to do with you immediately. He didn't even try to meet him halfway. He was just like, I'm done. I'm done with this. But Walter had a couple of outs too. He had some in that last season, he could have finished it, but he was just greedy, and it wasn't until the very end. And I hate the fact that I feel as if there was just some sort of I know it's kind of a bit of a cliche or something, but there should have been some sort of retribution or something like that, or just some acknowledgement that what he did, at the end, he felt as if he won. And it's did you really, Walter? Did you really win? I mean,
well, that's his own delusion, because he was selfish from the beginning. It was all about his pride and I'm going to do this. I'm going to fix it.
That's some sort of realization at the end where that's the part that sticks with me with it. Everything else was fine, but that part should have really because he could have had when they did that train robbery, and they could have split that chemical that they got to make meth, and they could have split it 3 ways, and they would have had $5 million each. And Jesse even says to him, that's enough. When we started this thing, you needed $700,000. You're going to be getting $5 million. And Walter just kept pressing. He's like, no, I deserve more because I got screwed over by the rich people, 20 years ago or whatever it was, however long ago it was. And, that's really I don't know. There should have been some sort of, I think there should have been a better recognition that you pushed it way too far. And, I don't know. I like the retribution at the end, those old movies where the bad guys are always at the end, they realize they didn't win in the end. But Walter he died feeling like he won because he got them a little bit of money on the side. I don't know.
Well, he's got the one line when he's talking to Skylar, and she's like, if you tell me you did this for the family one more time, he's like, I did it for me. I guess that's essentially supposed to be his.
Yeah.
I realized that I was stupid and greedy and selfish.
Well, there was that, and then the Nazis, the Nazi guy, the Jesse Plemons' uncle there at the end, he says, "Hey, you can kill me right now, but I know where your money is. So we can, work out a deal." And Walter just like ends it. And you just feel like I just had I just felt relief. I was like, okay, finally, we're moving on from this thing. Like, because, to fall down this trap again, it just would have been too much, But anyways. So then after that, I had to rewatch El Camino, the Breaking Bad movie that time-wise takes place in between I guess it all takes place after Breaking Bad.
Yeah. Which, by the way, the very first episode of the final season of Better Call Saul, Jimmy gets out of the car and there's a big El Camino restaurant sign right behind.
There's El Caminos the El Camino too at when he first brings the RV into his friend's lot that's going to hide the RV for them.
Yes.
He has a choice. The guy's like, "Hey, I got an El Camino right here for, I think it was $9,000." Mm-hmm. And Jesse makes the wise decision. Instead of getting a flashy El Camino to drive around, he picks that Toyota Tercel that's inconspicuous.
Right.
But El Camino always ties into Jesse in some way, Mm-hmm. It's always been a part of his. There's so many hidden things and all that.
Yeah, I'm very curious to go back and see all the details.
Oh, it's really something, and like I was, we were like Marie, and her fascination with purple, and that whole thing has to do with her. How like she was a kleptomaniac, mm-hmm. and it was about her delusion that she puts herself on a pedestal. And she chooses purple because purple is what you associate with royalty. Mm-hmm. The queen always has like purple velvet in her golden throne and all that stuff. So there's hidden meanings behind everything in those shows. And poor Hank too, man. That character just got raked over the coals. Damn it, Walter. You needed to learn your lesson. Damn it. I still hate the fact that he passed away thinking he won when he ruined all these people's lives. Makes me mad. But then we watched El Camino, which was great to go back because I think when we originally watched it, there was a lot of stuff I forgot about the TV show. So to have it all in context, really, I enjoyed the movie a lot more. I thought it was okay. I felt it was okay the first time, but I really enjoyed it this time. I almost like the relationship that Jesse has with Skinny Pete was just like, oh my God, these two guys, good dudes.
That's when they had the captain's chairs.
Yes. And I was watching that. I was like, okay, this is what. Yes, that's what. Well, no, it wasn't. They were talking about Star Trek. I can't remember if they had the captain's chairs, but there was a lot of talk about Star Trek and the conversations that they would have. That was the conversation, I believe, where every time Captain Kirk is beamed somewhere, he's actually dead. They kill him because they take all of his molecules apart, and then when they put them together, that thing walking around is Zombie Kirk.
This is Zombie Kirk.
So every time they take him apart and put him together, he's Zombie Kirk just walking around. It's just the conversations those guys had was just fantastic.
Yeah, I do. I'm pretty sure that is when they have those chairs because that's after they get the money at the end of like the end of the series. They get a little cash from Walter for helping out. The laser.
Lights. Yeah. Maybe they did.
So he passes them some cash, and I imagine they use that. They straighten out after that, and they're like, you know what? Let's just calm down. We're gonna buy some Captain Kirk chairs, and we're just gonna live a normal life, you know.
So, then started watching Better Call Saul, and it's great, good times. I love having the fact that everything from Breaking Bad is now fresh in our minds, and so you're getting all like the little callbacks and everything, and it's all coming in nicely.
As your Better Call Saul is meeting up with the beginning of
Like
Breaking Bad.
the fun thing is that that little intro to Better Call Saul, where it's the music and they got like some sort of color gradient over this zoomed in video or something like that generally.
Yeah.
And those little scenes that they play, I could tell is just like B-roll left over from Breaking Bad that they just kind of throw in. Like how like there was a few scenes where Jimmy's lying down on that thing that moves your head around or your waist around or whatever. And the intro would be just a close up of that thing. And I could just tell like they were just setting up a shot and waiting for him to get into the shot for that. I don't know. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit too much behind the scenes. But anyways, it was fun. Anyways, great show. Vince Gilligan writing a new Star Trek series. Yeah, I'd be down for that. If he is, he's doing awesome with the crime drama stuff. So, Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I'd like to have I'd like to have a more optimistic Star Trek. I don't know if I want a Breaking Bad-esque Star Trek series.
Yeah.
As long as he can, separate from the crime drama.
Yeah, like if he doesn't make it like a Breaking Bad series, I don't think that would be.
I'll just say whatever he creates, I would be interested in because he's got an eye for that detail and the strong characters and just how to tell a nice story.
If the guy who created Family Guy can make a good Star Trek series, I think. if he really wanted to. But I mean that crime drama that he's doing right now, it's fantastic. It's like a total throwback to like 70s movies, that whole style. I feel like Elmore Leonard, that whole just crime stuff. It's so fun. So good. Love it. Kyle says you need to watch Strange New Worlds. I don't know. I kind of I was half enjoying the series. I kind of find it tough. It's tough to go back because there's just so much other stuff to watch. So
yeah,
I'll probably get back to it. I don't know. We'll see.
No, right now I'm gonna watch Better Call Saul, and I am still working my way through season 3 of Star Trek.
Right. Yeah.
Which is a little slower. You got some not the greatest episodes there.
Not every episode is great.
No, there are some good ones. There are some fine ones.
Yeah.
But there are also some.
Hey, Sauce is here.
All right. Hey, Saucy.
Right at the end. Yeah, season 3 was easily. I think it was the worst season of that show.
It's got the silliest balance and.
That was when Desilu was sold to Paramount, and Paramount took it over, and they really clamped down on the budget. And season 3 is what it is. Season 3.
Yeah, there's still you still got the actors doing their best.
Yeah.
Guessing Kevin's mic isn't working. Wow, everybody's hating on you.
Gee, sorry. No, I'm using the onboard mic there.
Do you want to complain about his location?
Look, I got something to distract Rocket Sauce. Take that, Rocket Sauce.
No one is to leave the ship.
Take this.
We can't make transporter contact, sir.
There you go.
Get rid of him.
He left.
That's just sauce repellent.
All right, check out Retro Fandango on the Discord, and then follow us on Twitter at retro_Fandango. That's it. All right. Well, we'll be back at some point. Gonna be a little hiatus, and we'll be back.
Are you gonna let me know when we're coming back?
As soon as I stop broadcasting, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know, but it's going to be a little busy around here for a bit. And then once things calm down, then I'll be back. There, and Kyle is asking you to post some more Mila pics.
I still never posted the pictures of my Resident Evil. And for the record, it's not Mila Jovovich. It's specifically the Resident Evil Alice character.
I see.
Yes.
I got you. It's Alice. Go ask Alice.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, guys. That's it. Bye. Talk
Bye.
to you soon. All right.
Forever?
No, not forever.
No.
Just for a little bit.
For a little bit.
Yeah. All right.
Stay tuned on the Twitters and the Discords.
Yeah, there'll
And
be
maybe
something
you'll
on
get
there.
some information.
Yeah. And then this will seem all silly. It's like, why did you do this? All right.
Okay.
Goodbye.